Hola, welcome back to my channel. My name is Roxanne. If it's your first time here, then welcome. Today I want to talk to you guys about some exciting book releases by Latinx authors for 2021. I have already briefly mentioned, I believe, 2 of these in the previous anticipated book releases video that I uploaded a couple of weeks ago, but this list is entirely for Latinx authors. So let's get right in. So I'm gonna put right here, if the cover is available, I will put it right here for you guys. So we'll start with children's books. There are 2 that stood out to me that seem really sweet. One is called Your Mama, and it comes out April 6th of this year. It is by Hilda Yunes Burgos, and it's a picture book about the sweetness of moms. So it's a kind of a play on of like your mama jokes, but instead of them being insulting jokes, they're all about how good and sweet moms are. The illustrator is Gaby Di Alessandro. And then we have The Cot in the Living Room, which comes out June 1st, 2021, and it is about a young Dominican girl who deals with jealousy, which then turns into empathy as she sees her family babysit the kids of other people in her building as they have to work the 3rd shift in order to make ends meet. For young adults, The Cot in the Living Room was by Nonica Ramos, and the illustrator was Jacqueline Alcantara. For young adult, we have this one already came out in January 5th, and it is One of the Good Ones by Micah and Maritza Molite, and this is I apologize for my neighbors. And this is a sister duo who writes about 2 sisters, one of which is a social advocate, and she's killed mysteriously after attending a social justice rally, and so her sister is obviously very distraught and is determined to find out what happened. And so that's a mystery thriller. Then we have Fat Chance Charlie Vega, which comes out February 2nd by Crystal Maldonado, and this is a coming-of-age young adult novel with a fat brown main character, and this is a contemporary romance. Then we have Once Upon a Quinceañera, which comes out March 2nd by Monica Gomez Ira, and this is a debut novel, yet also young adult contemporary. I believe also has a romantic component, and it is another coming-of-age story. I think she and her best friend might like the same guy, but there's a lot of cultural components that are present there as well. This so it's When We Make It by Elizabeth Velasquez, coming out September 21st, and it is a young adult debut novel written in verse about an 8th grade first-generation Puerto Rican girl. And Elizabeth Velasquez is a beloved Latinx Nuyorican poet, and I love her very, very much. She's very outspoken. She does some amazing work. I would definitely recommend following her on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't already, and that will be her debut book. So it is a young adult, but it's written in verse, so similar to like the first book, Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. For adult, we have Brother, Sister, Mother Explorer, which comes out March 2nd by Jamie Figueroa, and this is 2 siblings. I think the story begins on a day when 2 siblings decide to spend the day together after the death of their mother, and it talks all about family and grief. I believe you should be aware of trigger warnings perhaps for suicide. Just reading the synopsis, there seems to be some suggestion of one of the siblings grappling with this. Then we have Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. I actually have an arc of this and hope to get to it very soon. It's a Colombian immigration story with a family that has mixed citizenship status. So that comes out, I believe that also comes out March 2nd. Then we have Of Women in Salt. I also have an arc for this one and hope to be able to get to it very soon. And this one comes out March 30th by Gabriela Garcia. And this is a Cuban multi-generational family story. I think there's a mystery component about trying to find the history of their family and sort of going back home and trying to find out more about your heritage and your family. It deals with immigration and addiction and family history as well. Then we have The 5 Wounds, which comes out April 6th by Kristen Valdez Quaid, and this This is about a man who during Holy Week opens his door to find his 15-year-old daughter has come home pregnant, and so the story takes off from there, and we deal with the, I guess, repercussions of this and what it means to the family. He is also unemployed, so just the family dynamics there, and I'm curious to see how those topics will be dealt with. Then we have The Most Beautiful Girl in Cuba. I did already mention this one in my previous anticipated release video. This is by Chanel Cleaton. It's the 4th in her Cuba saga, and this, I believe, follows based on true events of these revolutionary women from Cuba. And I think overall it's about 3 particular women, so it should be similar to her third one, which had 3 different points of views. Then we have coming out, then in August 17th we have the next Silvia Moreno Garcia. Silvia Moreno Garcia has 2 re-releases coming out this year as well, but they are not new releases. They're just because of the success of Mexican Gothic and Gods of Jade and Shadow. They're re-releasing some of her older works which had gone out of print, which is really exciting. But this is a new release coming out this year. It's called Velvet Was the Night, and it is another noir mystery book. It's historical fiction set in the 70s in Mexico City. I love everything that she writes. She has such an imagination. Every book feels like it's been written by a completely different author. So I'm very excited to see what this one is like. Hello, Editing Roxanne. Interjecting because I freaking forgot to talk about New Carolina de Roberti's book that's coming out August 3rd, 2021. She is one of my favorite authors of life. She wrote Cantoras, which was my favorite read of 2019, I believe. And it is about a past president of an unnamed Latin American country who, after his time as president is up, he receives a journalist to his home to talk about his legacy. He's apparently known as the poorest president, or was known as the poorest president in the world. And so, like most of her books, it is sweeping and supposed to be a lot of commentary and history interwoven into the story. And I cannot wait. When I tell you the excitement I felt to know that she had a new book coming out. Amazing. And the cover was recently shown on the publisher's Twitter. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And it comes out in August. Birthday present to me. Yes. For nonfiction, we have Apostles of Change, Latino Radical Politics, Church Occupations, and the Fight to Save the Barrio by Felipe Hinojosa. This also already came out in January 12th, and this is a 1960s history about the American city, specifically focusing on the barrio and its people. Then we have Latinas Celebrating 40 Big Dreamers, which comes out February 23rd by Juliet Menendez, and this one is pretty much exactly what the title suggests. It talks about 40 significant Latinx women, and they're a little bit about each of them, so it's kind of a compilation of small histories. Then also coming out, that one comes out February 23rd. Also coming out on February 23rd is The Sea-Ringed World, Sacred Stories of the Americas by Maria Garcia Esperon, translated by David Bowles. And this is ancient stories about ancient native stories from Latin America, which are being put together and translated, and so they're all short stories that are very significant to the Latin American native and indigenous cultures. So I'm very, very excited to see how this was put together, how it was translated, kind of the history behind putting this book together. I'm very excited, but that sounds like it could be beautiful. And so that's a collection of stories. Then coming out on March 2nd, we have The Soul of a Woman. I also talked about this one in my previous anticipated releases video. This one is a memoir by Isabel Allende, which you guys know is a very renowned and beloved Latin American author, female author. Then we have My Broken Language by Kiara Alegria Hughes, and she's a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright, and this is a memoir that discusses family, home, and belonging. That one comes out on April 6th. Then we have coming out on September 7th, For Brown Girls with Sharp Edges and Tender Hearts, a love letter to women of color by Prisca Dorcas Mojica Rodriguez. She is one of the creators of the Latina Rebels online presence page advocacy group that you might be familiar with if you follow sort of like Latinx feminists and poets and outspoken women like that on social media. So this is part history, part social commentary, part memoir, love letter to women of color. Coming out September 14th is Wild Tongues Can't Be Tamed, 15 Voices from the Latinx Diaspora by Ceresia Fennell. She is a Bronx native and she is the creator of the Bronx Book Festival. And so this is a collection of, like it says, 15 stories and voices from the diaspora. I think it will have a mix of poetry, stories, memoir, and I'm very, very excited. I have followed her on Instagram for a long time now. So yeah, those are some Latinx releases for 2021. Of course, there are many more. Those are just ones that that captured my attention and that I wanted to talk about. But of course, if I happen to read more or learn about more, I will be sharing them all over the place. I'm always sharing things on Twitter and Instagram as well. So be sure to follow me there if you'd like to see for more Latinx releases and authors and stories that might interest you. As always, thank you for watching and for listening. Thank you very much.